What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Vegans Who Live podcast, hosted by your favorite vegans. We got Miss Meatless Muscle, aka Brooke Sellers, and myself, John Thomas, aka the Bodybuilding Vegan. What is up, Brooke?
What is up? I'm excited today talking about prep hacks, all the things to do to help you with your calorie deficit, make it not suck. Well, at least maybe just suck less because it's just going to suck. How to be less cranky, all the prep things. We're going to try to make your life easier. And even if you're not in prep, you're just cutting, I think a lot of people could use these tips, even if you're not a competitor.
Yeah, because we probably have a handful of competitors, but a bunch of handfuls of people that will do some sort of cut. So this is going to be a very, very solid informational episode. Like, y'all should bookmark this or save it to anybody. Save it. Send it to anybody that you know is on a cut. I was just kind of laughing there because you're like, make it easy or easier. It's like prep's still gonna suck. Even with all of these, it's still gonna suck.
Embrace the suck. Yeah.
Embrace the suck and have a reason why. If not, you're not gonna stick with it. That could be the first hack, is have a really good reason why you're doing this. Not to get back in X or just to get in shape.
Also, we have not talked about this off air. So me and John are both bringing our own prep hacks to this, and I'm curious to see what yours are. I feel like they're gonna overlap, so I'm just curious if we end up doing some of the same things. So that'll be fun. Anyone listening, we are just as surprised as you are.
Yeah. This is completely unscripted, guys, but you know what? That's what makes it special. I actually have some prep hacks that I didn't have in my last prep. Actually, a few. I'm gonna have to write these down because I got a few that I don't want to forget about. I'm literally writing them down right now because I do think they would have made prep easier for me last time if I had them in play. But yeah, we'll dive into that here in just a minute. So let's stick to the script, the unscripted script. We have our wins of the week. What do you got going for you, Brooke? What's a win for your week?
My win for the week is I just bought an Xbox Series S, and I am stoked.
I don't know anything about this. What is this? I know about an Xbox and an Xbox 360, and that's where I clocked out.
So, I mean, it's basically the same deal. It's just like the newer, badder, bigger version. I haven't had an Xbox in years and years and years and years. And I just wanted to get back into gaming. I just wanted to like make that time for myself. And I thought it would be fun for like me and Steve to do together. And also, which we could talk about, it's kind of a prep hack for me right now, honestly, because I feel like my biggest struggle right now is when I get done with my food at the end of the day and I'm, zeroed out on my macros, and then I'm just watching a movie. Like, we've been really into old movies lately, but the bad thing with movies is like, I just want a snack. Like, I'm sitting there, I want like a little bit of popcorn. I'm watching him eat his popcorn and I'm just like, FML, not that it's not easy to work popcorn in, but like, you got to pick and choose like what you want to fit in your meal plan. You get it. So I bought the Xbox because I'm like, this will be great because my mind will be occupied. I'll be busy on the game. I get really invested into it. So I think this will help me. And then also like just from like kind of like a stress relief standpoint too, like also like when you're just sitting there like watching a movie, sometimes it's still easy to like let your mind wander off, and like then you're thinking about like, oh, did I reply to that person? Did I upload that meal plan? Like, you know how it is. But when you're in a game, I feel like all you can do is think about that game that you're playing. And so it's kind of like I'm looking forward to it as kind of like a hack for me to help me with my food and not start thinking about what's in the cupboard and what's in the kitchen and like what could I just go grab really quick, and also just kind of like to unwind at the end of the day. So I got some games. I'm gonna get the Hogwarts Legacy. I don't know if you've heard of that, but it's like basically the game that we all wanted when we were in like third grade, like the Hogwarts game that should have been around, but it just came out. It's like so freaking dope. I cannot wait to play it. So that's game number one. And then of course, all the Lego games, all the Lego Harry Potter, all the Lego Star Wars, all the games. So yeah, I'm excited. Don't ask me for my gamer tag. You can have my gamer tag if you get an Xbox, but nobody asked for my gamer tag.
Yeah. Oh man. Wow. Oh, you just brought up so much thoughts and memories. I remember I used to play video games when I was a little kid, and my dad would be like, "Oh, you're wasting so much time playing video games." I'm like, "You just watch TV? Like video games, you actually get involved. It's like you're not just consuming. When you read or when you watch, you're consuming. But I do feel like video games, depending upon the game you play, you are either part of that story or you're using some sort of strategy with your character. Um, so it is more interactive. And now that you said that, like when I watch TV, I got to be doing something with my hands. Like I'm either picking up my fingernails or I'm eating
Yep.
food or both. And that makes a lot more sense. Like if I'm playing a racing game, last thing I want to do is take my hand off the wheel to go grab some food. Like, I want to win. So, oh man, I
Exactly.
might. Well, next time I'm up that way, we should totally game. You're gonna have to
Yes. Yes.
reintroduce me.
Yeah, you'll
Let's
love it.
go.
I know I saw so many other bodybuilders, like they would have like their Nintendo Switch and like they'd be playing. And I know David always is like, if you're having a tough time during prep and like you're stressed out, just play some games, play some video games. And I know what you're saying. Like, it's like, people are, oh, it's such a waste of time. But like, you have to also like be okay that not every single day, a minute of your day has to be productive. That's okay. And like, if it's part of unwinding at the end of your day, because I used to be in that mindset too, like, why am I going to play video games? It's wasting my time. But like, oh, you can't work all the time. And like, to me it's better than watching a movie, because even when I'm watching a movie, my mind is just like, I can get into it, but then like a commercial comes on and then I'm thinking about the 10 million things I have to do tomorrow. So yeah, I'm really excited. But yeah, we could do multiplayer if you if you want to get one. Or yeah, when you're up here, you could definitely play. I'm gonna get like literally all the Lego games.
I feel like I've been out of this mix for like the last decade, so I could probably just buy like a really old used system and be like, "Oh my god, this is amazing." But yeah, I like that. And to the people, I mean, I'm one of those people that will work way too much. I worked a lot yesterday because I knew I was going to be busy today and tomorrow. But I do think we should all carve out, I don't know, an hour or 2 hours a day, probably minimum, that you do something that's just for you, that is relatively pleasurable or enjoyable. And that could be watching a movie, it could be watching your favorite show, it could be playing a game. I don't think there's anything wrong with games. I will say I used to play a lot of real-time strategy games. It was almost like chess, but like in real time. And so like you had to think and use strategy. Or I used to play the Batman games, like the Arkham Asylum. Yeah.
Yes.
And it was like a story. It was like a 5-hour movie that you just got to run through. It was, I don't know. I like video games.
They're so fun. I know. I love them all. Like, I love all kinds. I'm not super like, I'm not good at like shooter games like Call of Duty. Like, I'm not good at them, so I don't play them. Like, I get absolutely murdered. But like, it's embarrassing. I do play Call of Duty Zombies though. Now that is a blast. The Nazi
Yeah.
zombies, absolutely love that game. But yeah, I love them all. They're fun. Especially, I love fantasy games mostly. Like you said, like where it's a story. Like, I'll find myself just like all day, like, oh my god, I cannot wait to play my game, and then it's like so exciting with that 1 hour you get to play your game.
I love that. Um, I forget where I was gonna ask. I did. Oh wait. Oh yes. Are you gonna be streaming any of this? Is that part of the strategy, or this is just for fun?
Hmm. I haven't thought about that. I don't know. We'll see. I'm probably really, really rusty because it's been a long time since I've played games. So I don't know if anybody, maybe that would be fun though. Maybe it would be really fun for everyone to watch me struggle my ass off, actually.
I mean, or people like me that could relate. Like it's like
Yeah.
revisiting your childhood. Very cool. Um, yeah, we'll definitely follow up on this. I will schedule some time next time I come up there so we can play. To keep this moving along, since today's gonna be a slightly shorter episode, I'll jump into mine real quick. I'm gonna give myself a win of the week for sticking with Spanish lessons. Um, I fully believe that before my lifetime is over, I will need to use some Spanish to hopefully do some good things. Doesn't hurt that my current girlfriend, Allie, is Cuban and speaks Spanish. But I realized, just like anything else, just like coaching or whatever, you get what you pay for and you work towards what you pay for. Allie would happily teach me, but she'll also be easy on me if it's been a hard day. My Spanish instructor is like, "Why didn't you do the homework?" And I'm like, well, I did half of it. The other half, I honestly did not make enough time for. But I'm still showing up every week, and like, man, I almost had a panic attack last week. Like 2 weeks ago, I had a lesson yesterday, and I had a lesson last week, and I just felt so overwhelmed because I think you're probably somewhat like this. Like, you and I feel comfortable being really good at things. We work really hard to be good at things, whether that's tracking our food or lifting hard or I don't know, doing well in business. And I am not good at Spanish. I am so far from good right now that it's like I have to face myself in the mirror and be like, you suck at this. You still want to keep doing like I wanted to quit. I wanted to quit so bad. And I was like, you know what? That's why I need to keep doing it. So I'm proud of myself for sticking with it. Um, and it's starting to come together. My Spanish teacher mostly only speaks Spanish to me, and I can kind of understand everything. I can't always say it back, but I can understand. So working on it. But that's my one of the week.
I love it. Yes. Look, that's all about life. And it's like the same thing with our clients. Like we have our clients who come to us and they're overwhelmed with the gym and nutrition and they suck at it. But we're like, you suck at everything when you first start. I'm about to suck at these video games. Like Steve's like, I haven't played video games in like 30 years. So like, I'm gonna suck at these video games. He's like, you're gonna whoop my ass. And I'm like, that's okay. Like I'm gonna suck too. Like it's okay. But I feel you. Like when I'm doing something, I'm doing it to be like the best, which is not always a good mentality, but yeah, so like sometimes you just have to be real and be like, okay, well, I just started, and learning a language is a really, really hard thing. So that's, different than just like going to the gym and like trying to learn some machines and pick up some dumbbells and throw them around. Like learning a language is a really, really hard thing. So, I mean, I'm with you. I did Spanish in high school and like, I mean, then it's kind of easy, but like I can't even imagine like trying to go back and like learn it all now. And I was kind of like you, like I mean, even now, like if I go to Mexico, I can understand what people are saying to me, but like I can't really talk back. Like I'm sure I'll try my best, but I'm sure it sounds like, just terrible. Like when people come here and they speak hardly any English and it's funny or, but like, that's probably what we sound like over there. So yeah, it's a hard thing, but good for you for sticking with it, and you'll grow from it. You'll learn from it. You'll meet new people. I'm sure Allie will be really impressed. So lots of good will come from it.
Thanks, dude. Yeah, a couple last tidbits here. So, like in my own personal journey, I have my own biases, my own judgments that I make of other people. And recently, there was an absolutely jacked gentleman at my gym, like seriously big, like probably 30 pounds of muscle on top of me, big, top 10 in the world, big. And in not so great English, he tried to tell me why he didn't think veganism was great for bodybuilding. And my immediate thought was like, well, he's not even that smart. I can tell that he doesn't speak very. And then I was like, oh shit, English isn't his first language. He speaks multiple languages and he's smart and he's bigger than me. But my first thought was he doesn't speak as intelligently as me, so he can't be as intelligent as me. And I know that's super conceited and I'm being really honest with y'all, but like that was where my brain immediately went. And then I flipped the script. I said, what happens when I go to some other country? They speak a different language. I'm trying to keep up. And even though I've achieved some things, they're going to be like, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Like, he can't even speak properly. So it kind of hit me. I was like, stop being so judgmental and also get ready to be in his shoes. That was the first tidbit. The second tidbit is I largely learned how to read English thanks to the Game Boy. I got Pokemon for Christmas one year, and I was kind of like, I don't want to learn how to read. That shit takes too much time. I wanted to play that game, so I had to learn how to read real quick. And I'm like, maybe I could get some games in Spanish. Or Greta, she's minoring in Spanish, and every check-in she sends me, her phone is in Spanish. It says like Libras instead of pounds. So I could probably turn my phone into I might get lost. Y'all just don't ever hear from me again. But
I
yeah,
think that's
okay.
really
Anyway,
smart. I think that's really smart though. When I had an ex-boyfriend who immigrated here, and his English was not very good, and he learned English through like watching movies in English and like stuff like that, like playing games and like reading magazines and like listening to music. Like that's how he taught himself English, which I thought was like really, really, really cool. So I think and I think that's really kind of the connections that you have to make too when you're learning a new language. Like I remember when I was in Spanish, it was fun when we would have like the movie days where we'd watch like Toy Story in Spanish, and like everybody
Mhm.
would laugh about like the voices and stuff like that. But it is really helpful because you know the movie, you know what's happening, you know the
Uh,
plot. So like seeing it in
yeah,
Spanish just kind of helps you understand it better.
that's a good point. See, there's more. I can always learn more. I think, too, like long term, imagine how many beautiful songs or stories or movies were filmed in Spanish that I would never otherwise be able to appreciate unless I learn this language. It's gonna open up a whole new world. Um, anyways, Nuevo El Mundo. I don't know if that's right. El Mundo Nuevo, a new world. I don't know. I'm trying. Anyways, okay. Let's dive into today's topic. Prep hacks. I think we can just ping pong. We can go back and forth. So you do one, I do one. So maybe not in order of most to least important, but just in order of what comes to our brains. What's a good prep hack for you?
I would have to say number 1, volume eating is the key, you know, in a prep. And basically, if anyone doesn't know what that means, it's just eating foods that are a little bit less calorically dense. So they're going to be less calories, but you can eat more food. So when you think volume eating, think like veggies, fruits, some fruits, popcorn, stuff like that. And like cucumber is a big one for most people in prep. You can eat a ton of cucumber because it's almost just water. And so for me, that is like the key to staying in a deficit because really I just need to feel like I'm eating a lot of food. You know, it doesn't need to be the best thing in the world. You know, I just need to feel like I'm eating a lot of food. So I typically load up on veggies. I always do a big salad when I'm in prep or when I'm in a big deficit. And you know, figure out what veggies work for you. Everybody's different, but I think at making sure that you have a lot of veggies and fruits in your diet is really important. And that's why people who, you know, they're trying to lose weight, and typically like the lifestyle people who come to us and they're trying to lose weight, and they're like, well, I'm in a calorie deficit, but I'm hungry all the time. And then you look at what they're eating, and they're eating like a 300 calorie protein bar for breakfast and like a 400 calorie coffee from Starbucks. And it's like, well, no wonder you're hungry. Like you're eating all of these calories for hardly any food. So I mean, you're basically running on empty all day. So that is the difference. And Greg Doucette made a really awesome YouTube video. We should do something like this, but it was basically him and his girlfriend ate 1,800 calories worth of food, and his was like a volume eating where he had tons of vegetables in his meal, tons of fruits, very lean proteins, very lean carbohydrates, and then she like had fast food for her 1,800 calories, and they compared like the volume of food next to each other, and it was crazy. Like he was eating like 3 times the amount of food that she was eating. So they were just saying, you know, it's really easy if you're eating 1,800 calories of fast food to be hungry, and then at night you feel like binging and going off your plan versus like staying full and satiated all day.
Makes perfect sense. I think often that's the easiest area for us as coaches to start helping our clients or just anybody that reaches out, like volume eating. And you already gave some good examples. More fruits that are not super calorie dense. So berries are going to be better than like bananas. But still, bananas are better than candy. So it kind of depends on where you're at. Like for my clients, like for their carbs, if they're off season, they'll probably have a lot of rice. One of the first shifts I'll make is a slight drop in carbs, and then I'll switch to potatoes, a little bit more filling. Then if we start to get to really deep points in prep, um, swap the potatoes for something like zucchini and just keep making those swaps to where they still feel like they're eating about the same amount of food, but there's less total calories. I think that's a great start. Yeah.
Thanks. That was a good one too. I didn't think about zucchini noodles like instead of pasta. But that's a
Yeah.
really good one too, yeah, or like and even, like PB Fit instead of peanut butter, my fats
Yeah.
just dropped my coach dropped my fats to, like, 25 grams of fats, and so now I've cut out I know, I literally am not adding any fats to my meal, so I've swapped all my peanut butter for PB Fit, which is half the calories, but it feels like I'm eating 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, so, yeah, it's just kind of, like, tricking your brain a little bit.
And we'll add a slight warning here. Don't become one of those people that's like, oh, a pound of salad or a pound of spinach has 40 calories. Well, I'll just eat 4 pounds of spinach. Because that was me in my very first bodybuilding prep. And then I found out after that's like exactly how competitive eaters stretch their stomachs to prepare themselves to eat all that food. Is they'll just sit down and eat pounds of spinach or pounds of grapes. And I was kind of doing myself a disservice because I was stretching my stomach so much that almost no amount of food would ever make me feel full. And then it's like, how many pounds of spinach do you want to eat? And it's, anyways, so yeah, like keep it reasonable. I say like almost keep it natural in a sense, like regular foods, some of the maybe like the low calorie noodles you could get by sometimes, but like trying to make like a gallon sized protein ice cream bowl. Same thing in my last prep. I had to cut those out because like I just became so obsessed with it that I was eating this gigantic bowl of food and it wasn't filling me up and it was best messing with my digestion. So I guess that's just like kind of the thing there. Um, I'm gonna back us up. My tip is gonna be, I already mentioned it, but find a reason why. Like why do you want to do this goal? Why is this goal more important than any reason that could stop this goal? Write it down. I literally tell my clients to list out their goals when they start with me. And they're like, I'm going to do this for my kids, or I'm going to do this because I've been overweight my whole life and I deserve to have a six pack, or whatever their reason is. And I copy that reason, I send it to them, and I say, when shit gets hard, I'm going to remind you of what you wrote down. Because by the time you get close to stepping on stage, or if you're just lifestyle and you're getting abs for the first time in your life, it's going to be hard. And you got to have a really solid reason why you want to do it. Otherwise, you're not going to stick with it. So pick your reason why.
That's a good one. I had to do that this week. It's like you're never too far beyond remembering what your why is. Like no matter where you're at in your fitness journey. Like this week I weighed in, I really wasn't quite where I wanted to be at this point. And like a little voice in my head is like, fuck it. Why am I doing all this stuff to not be where I want to be and I'm not making progress? Like why? Who cares about 15,000 steps a day? Like 25 grams of fat. Why don't I just have 30 today? Like, but then it's like, no, 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 no. Remember my why. Like, and then I just thought to myself all the reasons that I want to do this and why this is important to me. And then it was just a no brainer. Like, yeah, this is going to be hard, but it's worth it. And I'm going to keep going. And I think that's really important when you're in a prep because it's like you said, shit gets hard. Like a lot of people don't realize like how hard prep gets. So you have to have a good why, like a good why, not just I want to look good and I want to have a six pack. That's not going to cut it.
I got vegan tattooed on my forearm. That was my first tattoo. And anytime in prep when it really got hard, when I'd be going to pick up a weight and I'm like, I don't want to do this. I'd be like, well, there's probably some animals that don't want to be in cages or killed right now. So suck it up, buttercup. Time to work. And it's funny. It seems to work every time. It just really reminds me of why I put myself and why I put my body through this. So yes. All right. I'm gonna ping pong it back to you. What's the next one?
All right. So my next one is going to be, I think this is you too. I know this is you too. So I would say teas and decaf coffee. I know you love your decaf coffee, which, oh my God, saves my life. Saves my life. So that's what I've been doing lately. I have worked in it. So I mean, this is kind of like a prep hack too, but like make food that you like. I think that's another big one is like actually make meals that you're gonna enjoy. So I do make a little protein ice cream at the end of the night, which is like almost no carbs. It's pretty much all protein. But like I said, I'm done with my food. I'm just hanging out. And then my mind starts to be like, I kind of want something sweet. My decaf coffee has saved me. Like I just make my little decaf coffee at night, put a little almond milk in there, a little stevia, and it is like dessert. It is absolutely dessert. I know you did yours more like a frappe kind of thing. So, I mean, you could get creative with it, but I think that is such a hack. And then also like herbal teas, if you just put like hibiscus to me, like a hibiscus tea with some stevia can be like dessert when I'm in prep. I know it kind of sounds crazy, but like, you know how it is. Like when you go so long without having like sugar and like anything processed, like that is like a treat. So I just and in your brain, you just have to start telling yourself like this is my little treat, like my little decaf coffee is my little treat, and then I'm done for the night. But those definitely help me. And then more liquids too, the more full you're gonna be, and that's gonna help keep you satiated.
Yep, agree 100%. I do love my drinks. I'm trying to cut back on the artificial sweeteners. Not the easiest thing in the world, but I'm working
I
on it.
know.
I'm basically what I've done. I've partnered with a company. They make this thing called, I believe it's NutraSweet, and it's stevia based, but it has some prebiotics and other things. It's not as sweet as I like. I'll be honest. Like it's funny when I go to make Ali a cup of coffee or tea. I'm like, make it to where I don't really like it because it's not that sweet and it's perfect for her. And she tries mine and she's like, oh my god, I can't drink that. It's so sweet. So I'm trying to work back, and what I've realized is I'm like, ooh, I'm craving a drink. And then I'm like, well, I'm not going to use my artificial sweetener. I'm going to use the other one. And I'm like, I don't really want it. I wasn't really craving the drink. I was just craving the sweetener because I'm weird. But anyways, whenever a client's like, oh, I'm hungry, I will take a look at their diet. And if it's got a sufficient amount of fiber, protein, veggies, I'll be like, how much water are you drinking? And they'll be like, oh, today, I'm a 200-pound plus man, and I had a half a gallon. I'm like, well, there you are. You're thirsty. You're not hungry. Like, drink your dang water and watch your hunger mostly disappear. So, yeah, staying hydrated. That's huge. However you choose to do it, but definitely stay hydrated.
Yeah, definitely. And I think just having like a little nice and another thing I do is like green I'm not like a huge greens powder person. I really only use it because it's another drink. I can easily get in like another 16 ounces of water, and like so having those little things that are flavored and that you enjoy, I think that's really helpful. But yeah, I hear you on the artificial sweeteners. That was like one of the hardest things I've ever done by far. When I had my gut issues, like caffeine, like he told me I had to cut out caffeine. That sucked. But like the artificial sweeteners, that sucks. That sucks. Especially like sucralose, because when you're used to like now I'm used to stevia and monk fruit. So I'm like used to it. And the other day I think Steve got like some EAAs with sucralose and I tried it and I was like, oh, this is amazing. Oh my God, what is this? Because sucralose, it's just so much
Yeah.
sweeter. It's so much better. And I'm like, God, this is so much better than what I have. But yeah, exactly. And then you have to kind of like let your taste buds adjust to something not as sweet. And I'm the
Mm.
same way. I love sugar. Like when I make my coffee, Steve's like, oh, that is disgusting. That's like literally like drinking ice cream. But that's just how I like it. So I have to use a ton of stevia.
Yeah. I mean, it's I almost like from a villainistic plot, like whoever made these artificial sweeteners is smart as hell because like we're all addicted. Um,
Seriously.
What I'm trying to do, what I've actually been able to implement is I will alternate. I'll go from an artificially sweetened to a naturally sweetened. So like sucralose to stevia, back to sucralose to stevia. I have my intra workout carbs with stevia, but my EAAs, they do have sucralose. I don't know how to find some that don't taste like absolute dog crap without it. So I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm just trying to be better. Um, and like I don't keep diet sodas stocked at my house, but if I'm on the road and I'm at a gas station, it's like $2 for a bottle of water, $2 for a diet root beer. I'm like, I might get the root beer. That's just me. Um, but yeah, okay. Well, anyways, yes. Stay hydrated, be careful with artificial sweeteners. Um, I'm gonna say, and you guys can support either me or Brooke here, say grace. I wish I had found the Say Grace protein options in my prep for two reasons. One, they are extremely lean. It's made from soy protein concentrate. So there's almost no fat, almost no carbs, ton of protein. So from that aspect, it's great. From the secondary aspect, it's chewy. It takes a minute to get through it. So for me, if I make a big bowl of that at night, I'm almost like by the time I finish chewing it all, I'm like, okay, I'm done eating. Whereas normally I'm like, I can't wait to eat more. Sometimes I trick myself. I'm like, just go to bed and then you'll get to eat breakfast soon. But like say grace. I think we both have it in our bio if you guys want to check it out. That's one that if I have a competitor, it'll be in their plan just because I wish I had it in mind. So I know you make a lot of other stuff. I like
Oh,
the shred.
yes. Every single day I have that in prep because like you said, it's so lean. And honestly, I feel like it's a volume food compared to a lot of other vegan proteins. Like, and especially like I'll have my clients do usually like 2 servings of it because that's about 40 grams. And they're always like, oh my God, this is so much food. Like, am I supposed to eat all of this? Like, are you sure? And I'm like, yep, you are. Like, that's the point. So for me, like when I make the bits and the shreds, it like, once you hydrate it and cook it, it comes out to be a lot of food, which really helps me. And you know what? That could even really tie into my next tip, which I was gonna say when I'm in prep. This is just like really for people who are in super, super low calories, macros. I really try to consume less tofu. And
Hmm.
so, that is like a swap that I would make. If I was normally eating like tofu with something, I would swap say the tofu for say grace because for one, tofu is a little bit higher in fat. So for me, it's like I'd rather eat my fats. I'd rather eat some avocado. I'd rather eat some almond butter, some olives, like actually eat more food rather than use it in my protein. So yeah, I felt like that kind of tied into my next one. So I figured I'd just plug that in there.
Yeah, no, I like it. It's smart. Like that's why I feel if you want to at a higher level compete or just have an idea of what you're eating, it's important to know what your food is made up of. So like people might be like, well, why would you take out tofu? That's a great source of protein. It's healthy. And tofu is higher in fat. So say grace is a great alternative. If you just swap it, then match the protein, you'll just come in with lower fat. And like you said, you could add fat back. Same thing with like TVP. TVP is a great option. It's a little more prep friendly, but it does have some carbs in it. So you could swap from that to say grace or from that to seitan. The thing about seitan is unless you make it yourself and you add the nutritional yeast, there will be a slight limit on the diversity of the amino acid profile. And I don't want most people to worry about this, but like if I had a competitor doing 40 grams of say grace, that's coming all from soy, it's going to be a fully complete protein. If I was to swap them to seitan, I might want to push that protein up to like 50 grams or 55, unless they made it themselves and they added nutritional yeast, then it should be pretty safe. But just one other thing to consider, and another reason why Say Grace is such a great prep hack.
Yeah, I had someone DM me the other day and she was like, I keep hitting my protein, I keep hitting my carbs, but I'm always over my fats. And I'm like, well, you must be doing a lot of tofu. She was like, yep, I'm doing tofu every single meal. So I'm like, yeah, so that's one really good swap to make. And like you said, it's not for everyone. Tofu is a great protein source. It is a superfood. It's awesome. We love it. It's just like when you're a competitor and you're training for, aesthetics and you're trying to get really, really, really lean and absolutely peeled, again, volume eating. You want to eat your fats. That's really going to help you. So I definitely would swap like tofu for, some leaner sources.
Sidebar: the big mountain tofu has no
Mm,
fat.
yes, that's a good one too. So I swapped all my tofu for that right now. So any meal that I normally make with tofu, like tofu scramble, I make it with the soy-free tofu. I made this like basil Asian kind of sweet Thai chili eggplant dish with tofu. I make it with that instead. And then there's really no fat unless you add it.
Yeah, I have not shared it anywhere, but I did buy a block. It's my first time ever. What I did though, I I cut it into thirds and I threw it in a waffle maker. And then I put
Ooh,
almond butter and sugar-free jelly on top, and it was still tofu, but I
yeah.
was pretty happy with that meal, and it was like 60 grams of protein, so the only thing is they are a little bit pricey, um,
Yes. Yes.
comparatively, but you might pay for your sanity in prep, so there you go. It depends on what like, I wouldn't do it in a bulk. I just my wallet would not love me, but a cut, I could work it in. All right, I'm gonna be really off the wall here. This has not been implemented in any of my preps or any of my clients' preps, but it's something I'm somewhat considering going forward. And good Lord, YouTube gods, don't ban me for this, but using some psychoactive compounds, maybe some from mushrooms could be an option if you catch my drift. Um, I've done successfully a few like morning hikes with, I'm not trying to say dosages, but like a reasonable amount, nothing too crazy. I wasn't like hallucinating, but I was feeling myself. And I put in like 25,000 steps before meal one. And I felt great. I wasn't even hungry. Like I brought some EAAs just to have a little bit of aminos on deck. But like I felt great. I got sunshine. I think I just love being in the sun and like 25,000 steps just like that. Um, I don't know
Wow.
if that would be great in prep or not, but like maybe like one day a week or even every 2 weeks just to like get some cardio that's not on a machine and kind of reset yourself. I don't know. I told Allie I could like go skating for like 5 hours, and she's like, "Oh, I can't wait for prep." And I'm like, "Oh, you don't know what you're, you don't know what you're saying." But I don't know. Like they do have hunger reducing properties. Some people they can give an upset stomach. For me, I'm just not really hungry, which is weird because I'm always hungry. I always think I'm hungry. Um, and they have no calories. So could it be a prep hack? Maybe. You know what? I'll say this: microdosing is a prep hack, and I'm not a doctor, so consult your doctor on this before you do it. But throughout my most recent prep, the second half of it, I started microdosing. We're talking like a tenth of a gram to maybe a quarter of a gram, 2 to 4 times a week. And the second half of prep was better than the first half. I was a happier person. I was a kinder person. I was more understanding. I learned to love myself. I mean, none of that should be happening in prep. Like you should be practically dying, and I was, but I was also like just loving life too. So I don't know. That's a really out there thing. And I'm not saying you should do this, whoever's listening, just saying it has in ways worked really well for me.
Look, they definitely make you not hungry, so that
Can't
would
say the same
certainly
for
help.
weed.
Yeah, I know.
And you can't drink alcohol in prep. So your options become a little bit more limited.
Yeah. That's a good one. You'll have to experiment your next prep.
Yeah, doing like marathons like 2 weeks out.
Screw it.
Oh, yeah, might as well have fun. Okay, I'm gonna ping pong that back to you.
All right. So my next one would be to buy like individually packaged treats, and I'll give an example, or like portion out your treats, your whatever it is. So my examples, just so I can make that make sense. I love chocolate. I wanted to keep chocolate in my prep because chocolate's healthy, helps cortisol, whatever. But I was finding when I bought a chocolate bar, it was really hard to cut myself off, and I even found these like low calorie chocolates. They're by like Gatsby. Have you seen those?
Mm-mm.
Really, really good chocolate. Not all of them are vegan, so I will just warn anybody listening, but I found them at Sprouts, I found them at Walmart. You can have like the whole bar for like 170 calories or something like that, which is not bad at all. And they're made with some sort of like fiber or something. I can't remember exactly, but they're really healthy, like, but they taste really good. Like they're almost better than real chocolate or like, I don't know, regular dark chocolate. But even still, I was like, I can't eat the whole thing. Like, but I found these awesome little tiny chocolates that are like individually wrapped, like portioned on Amazon. It's called Raka Vegan Chocolate. You can look it up, Raaka, I believe it is. And they have a coconut milk that is amazing. They have a pink salt chocolate. It came with oat milk and unroasted dark chocolate. So now it just kind of helps me to just pick one little chocolate out of the box, and then I can't eat the whole thing. So that was really helpful to me. I thought that was a great hack. And then also for I don't those protein pretzels that company sent me by it was Chris Power. Did you see those? I posted those. Maybe not.
Yes. How are they?
Oh my god, so good. So damn good. I will say on Amazon, they're like always sold out and they're way overpriced. If you can find them at Costco, it's only like $10 for a huge bag. And you can have 18 pretzels for 110 calories and 15 grams of protein. I was like, this is insane. Like, this is too good to be true. They don't have any ambassadorship program right now, but they're working on it. They're very low budget. So, I was just posting for them, and they sent me a bag, which I thought was nice. But again, I was like, I'm having a hard time cutting myself off because these are really, really good. So I just like portioned out 18 pretzels and put them in like little baggies so that when I wanted some, I could just grab a baggie and that was it. Like, I'm not sitting on the couch with the huge bag, and then like I could just eat them endlessly, which I absolutely could. Cause I'm like you, I'm like the hungry all the time person. That is me. Like, I can eat. Like, I'm just put that out there. So anyways, yeah, I just grab a little Ziploc baggie and I'm good. And like, I don't know, there's something mentally about like, I could eat a lot out of like just a big open bag, but like I'm not gonna go back for a second Ziploc baggie. Like, I'm not gonna do that. For me, that's like, no, I know my limits. I know my limits. I'm gonna cut myself off. So I don't know. I thought that might help somebody who might struggle with like eating a little bit too much or like going a little bit too far. Cause I try to be that person that's like balance, but I can't. Like, and a lot of prep for me is just knowing that, like knowing myself and knowing, okay, I can't sit here with a big bag of chips or like a big bag, even if they're protein pretzels. I'm sorry, I can't sit here with the bag and just eat out of it. So I just need to portion these out. Same thing with the chocolate. I can't just have a chocolate bar and just like pick off of it and eat it. I just need to portion it out. So that really helped me.
I see that. You are stronger than me. I could not have any of that in my house during prep. Not even because I think I would cheat. I didn't even cheat once on this last prep. It was just like it's easier if I don't have to see it or think about it for
A
me.
hundred
But
percent. Well, honestly, I'm with like that with a lot of things. Those two things are easy for me to work in, but there's some things that I'm just like, like I had to talk to my boyfriend. I'm like, you got to take that to work. Like, that can't be here right now. Like, and it sucks because you're like me. Like, we have all these companies send us stuff for free, and that is so hard sometimes. And I'm just like, shit, you got to take this to work. I'm sorry, like I can't be here.
I had to cut green bites off. I was like, dude, don't. Next 2 months, can't. Please don't. It's gonna
Lord,
go
I know
away.
they just DM me and they're like, "Hey, what size hoodie do you want?" And I'm like, "Just the hoodie, not the bites. Like, I can't do it right now."
But I think this does, beg the question, like, if we worked in a little bit of chocolate every day, would we have these cravings? Maybe not. What's interesting is you're working with David, and David learned from John Meadows, and John Meadows is a huge proponent of including some dark chocolate in his athletes' meal plans because it does help with blood flow. It's a healthy fat. Not one of the ones that's like super loaded with sugar, and obviously you still have to measure it accordingly. But there are some health properties, antioxidants with dark chocolate. So, always learning. There's always different ways to do things. There's no one way to prep. You kind of got to find
Yeah.
your way.
I just feel like you have to know yourself, And like, so for a while, because I'm like you, I'm like, I'm not going to restrict myself. I'm going to try to work in some things that I love because I do think that makes it easier. It makes it more enjoyable. But I have to be honest with myself too. I have to be real with myself and be like, well, I struggle with that. So like for a while, me and Steve would buy the vegan Ben and Jerry's, which I know again is not the healthiest thing, but I was like, I would tell myself like, I'm just going to have like 2 tablespoons every night, but I would never have 2 tablespoons. Like, even if it's like a half a cup, the point is the whole pint is 1,000 calories. So, Steve's over there Steve could eat one every single night. I mean, he just stays like 8% body fat year round eating bonza pasta and impossible nuggets. Like, I don't understand. I just like can't. But yeah, so like I'm like, I can't sit here and watch you eat Ben and Jerry. So I'm like, I'm sorry, can't do it. We can't have it in the house. So now I replace that with my protein ice cream, which I'm fine with. But again, I'm a volume eater. I would rather have, because some people are like, well, it's protein ice cream. That sucks. No, like to me, I would rather have a bunch of food and feel full and feel satiated than have 2 little bites of Ben and Jerry's Cherry Garcia.
I'm the same way. Or I'd rather just have the whole pint of Ben and Jerry's. I
Exactly. Yeah.
I really want to do a 10,000 calorie eating challenge day, and like that would be so easy for me. Like I'm just gonna throw down a whole box of cinnamon toast crunch. There's 2,000. 3 Ben and Jerry pints. That's 5,000 total, like with everything. Um,
Jeez.
and then I'm halfway there. Like then I go do it. Like maybe go to there's a Cinnaholic out here, and their regular cinnamon rolls are like 700 calories. So I can have like 5 of them. That'd be another 3,500. And I'm like
Damn.
almost done. I'm like, dang, how do I want to say like, yeah, I don't know. We'll see if I do it or not. I've been thinking about it for a while. Oh, just throwing some green bites. Done.
That would be cool. Honestly, I would love that one.
Ooh. All right. I'm sorry if you're in prep or trying to find a prep hack. This is not a prep hack, but you know the So Delicious company, they make those little ice cream sandwiches,
Are they
maybe.
healthy or just regular?
Just regular. Like they're in
Okay.
the like a frozen aisle at Walmart and Publix. Like
Okay. Oh, yes,
um
yes, yes. So delicious.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, little ice cream sandwiches. So Allie and I also found at Publix, there's these Sweet Lawrence cookies. And they have some sugar added, but they were like oatmeal cranberry. And so like each cookie only had 3.5 grams of fat. That's not bad for a cookie. So we made the cookies, and I was like, yo, we got these ice cream sandwiches. We should like mash it in between the cookie. Oh my God. It was so good. I might have to do that. I need to go get more cookies. All right. Well, sorry if anybody's on prep, Brooke. You're gonna have to save this one for later. But like for an at-home dessert that I'm kind of made myself using other people's things, kind of made it myself. I don't know. It was really good. So yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
sounds good.
that's a bulk hack, I guess. All right.
There was one time Steve made a protein shake, well, like a milkshake with Ben and Jerry's. He did like half a pint. He did like
Yeah.
half a pint of Ben and Jerry's and then protein powder and just like a whole bunch of shit in it, and it was really good. He's nuts.
That's like what a lot of those like world's strongest men will do. They'll make a gigantic protein shake, but they'll add 1 or 2 Ben and Jerry's and like a half of a container of chocolate syrup, like just ridiculous. What you could do in your creamy, you could probably add like a protein bar, depending upon your macros. I know you're
Yeah.
getting low now, but then it'll kind of break it up in there, and it'll be kind of like a smoothie with like little protein crunchy things in there.
Mm.
Um, all right, actually, this could be a cutting or a prep hack if you're looking for something sweet and healthy. I made this for Sean and Allie last weekend when we were up in Atlanta. I took a banana and some oatmeal, and I mashed it all together, added a little bit of protein powder, and I threw it in the oven for like 20 minutes. And like that was it. 3 ingredients: bananas, oats, protein powder. But it tastes kind of like a banana bread cookie. Like if y'all haven't tried it before, it's super easy and like pretty friendly. Now, if you're in prep, maybe not, but like a good little treat there. Or if you're traveling, because you can take them traveling pretty easy. Whenever I go flying, I'll make some of those because it's like protein on the go. Um, all right. I do have like an actual hack slash tip. Maybe a little bit different than what Brooke said earlier. She said find foods that you enjoy. I almost say find foods you don't enjoy. If you have like pretty bland food, still I would use like salt, but like if you don't cover it in the artificial uh barbecue sauces and stuff like that, like I love those. I try not to use them as much in prep because if your food's a little more bland, you don't crave it as much.
Yeah.
You eat it because you need it to function, but not because you want to just sit there eating. Um,
Yeah.
so that's another thing people could try.
Yeah, it's tricky, and I've noticed that this prep because so my last coach, I was on a meal plan. I didn't have macros. I had no idea what my macros were. I just had a meal plan. And it was bland as fuck. I was like hating my life for a while on that meal plan, but eventually I got used to it. And it's like you said, I could have cared less about food. It was just literally fuel, which this prep I really like my food. I just posted that reel yesterday of all the food I'm eating, and I'm in love with my meal plan right now. So every meal, I find myself looking forward to it, and like, which is a good thing, you know. So I think yeah, it just really depends on you. Again, you got to know yourself. Like, there's some people who could do the Ben and Jerry's every night, have their 2 tablespoons, and then be done. That's not me. So I think a
Mm,
lot of times, doing a prep is just knowing yourself, knowing your limits, So, but yeah, I do think you get kind of addicted to those sugar-free sauces and stuff. I was so like my first prep, oof. I mean, I would like literally just be like doing tablespoons of sugar-free maple syrup when I wanted sugar. It was
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah. And then they'll start to mess with your digestion. Yeah,
Oh
all
yeah.
these things. I'm going to believe my last tip. And this is to myself and to anyone else. And I know it might sound not like, oh, he gave out a big secret, but like, get some help, use a coach. Like, I could do like maybe like a small cut on my own, but like, that's going to be your accountability. That's going to be your person that just keeps things honest and objective with you. I remember in my prep, I was a week out from my show. I was at the leanest I've been in my life and at a body weight I hadn't seen since 2019. And I thought I was fat. I remember looking in the mirror and be like, "Oh my god, look at my lower ab fat. Like, damn it, like we're not going to be ready." And I was like 210 pounds. I was 40 pounds lighter than I woke up this morning. Like, and I thought I was fat. Um, and I'm like, well, if I'm fat, it's not my fault. It's my coach's fault. And that was what I needed. And he probably over dieted me, but still, like even in that state, I could not objectively see it. So, yeah, if you're going to the stage, get a coach. If you're doing a really hard cut, kind of up to you. If you've already got some experience, you've done it before, go for it. If it's your first time, maybe get that outside objective point of view because like for me with my clients, I try to pull on one lever at a time. It's rare that I'm like, all right, we're going to add fat burners, we're going to drop your food, and we're going to add cardio. Because then it's like, what is working and what's not working? I'd rather make one, maybe two decisions at a time. Like I just updated Maya's plan today, gave her an extra day of cardio, a little bit more yohimbine, and she's coming right along. She's about 10, 11 weeks out from her show. But I didn't want to change her food on top of that. Like I'll wait and see how gym performance goes, see how she looks next week before I make that call. So get a coach.
100% agree. Do not try to do this on your own. And I mean, aside from just the accountability and being objective, because the other thing is when you're close to a show, you're depleted, you're flat as fuck. Like a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to look so great, like 2 to 3 weeks out. Like you might look shredded, but you're going to look flat. Like and like David always says, flat is not fat. But in your mind, your body has already changed so much too. And you're seeing changes. I mean, when you're that lean, you're seeing changes, after you go to the sauna, after you eat meal one, after you eat meal two, a good night of sleep, a shit night of sleep, like you're seeing all the different changes. So it is good to have someone who is just watching from an objective point of view so that you can take your head out of it. So 100%. And then also the health implications of getting that lean, especially if you're a woman. And also know that you need to commit to a reverse diet. You need to commit to a reverse diet. Do not think that you are going to do a 20-week prep and then not need to do 20 weeks working on your health after that show. And that's something that I didn't learn or I didn't realize when I was doing my first show is like you have your show and then you also have pretty much almost the same amount of time that you were in prep after that show to really focus on getting healthy and getting your place back to where your hunger cues are normal. If you're a woman, your menstrual cycle comes back. Who knows? You never know when that's going to happen. Getting your hormones balanced, getting back calories to a normal level, getting steps to a normal, sustainable level. So I see people all the time, like they're like, I'm going to do a show and then I'm done and then I'm going on vacation. And it's like, no. Like if you're going to do a show, you need to commit to doing a reverse afterwards. That's very, very important. And you need someone who knows what the heck they're doing and will give you a plan and will reverse diet you properly because there are health implications to getting that lean. And that's a conversation nobody ever had with me. So when I get DMs all the time. People want to compete. And I'm like, all right, well, you need to set up a consultation with me. We need to talk about the commitment, not even just to the show, but after the show and getting healthy. And of course, the potential health implications, thyroid, gut health, all that stuff. So definitely, you guys need to have somebody in your corner who will take care of you and watch out for you.
It's in my contract now. Like if you sign up to work with me and we start a prep, whether or not we finish, you're on the hook. You're at least paying me for the next 8 weeks, whether or not you decide to stick with me. Because I want you to be really invested in those next 8 weeks. So if we get all the way to your show and you do just the one show and that's it and you're out, you still got 8 weeks. If you get 4 weeks out of your show, you decide this isn't for you, you still got 8 weeks. You do your show, you do another one, you got 8 weeks after that. Like, we're going to, at least for 8 weeks, keep your cardio. We'll be pulling down on it, but it's still going to be in there somewhat. Same with the fat burners. They're going to be in there. We're going to be pulling down each week. And then we're going to be building up your food as much as possible without causing like a crazy, terrible fat rebound. And try to get you, like Brooke said, like hunger cues, get you mentally back in a good place. For Greta, it took her, I think it was like 88 days for her period to come back post-show. And like, that's not even like outside the realm of
Nope.
normal. Like, I'm glad it happened then. Otherwise, I would have started to get a little bit worried. But like, that's about like, if you're stage lean, that's what you're looking at. So doesn't always happen for everyone in every cut, but pretty much any successful prep, that is going to happen for the ladies. So things to consider. I think we hit a lot. Did you have any more off the top of your head?
My last one was going to be getting a walking pad. Walking pad will save your, I know you're going to agree with me on that one, because that will save your ass every single time. Like, if it's raining outside, doesn't matter. Get on your little walking pad. You got to work, get on your walking pad. Watch TV, get on your walking pad. No excuse to not to get your steps in. And you know what? They're less than $200 on Amazon. So, you know, you could literally, what you spend at the grocery store, you could spend on a walking pad.
I think I bounced out for just a second.
Oh, well, I didn't notice.
Okay, good. I'm over here saying, oh no, but I guess I don't know where I went. Okay, cool. Walking pad, yes, 100%. I think I got mine after talking to you. I think you were the one that brought that into my life, right?
I can't remember.
Maybe, or maybe I told you. I don't know. Anyways, I know that we had talked about walking pads, and it's been huge for me. I like to go outside, but some days it's raining, and it's like, I can't just have 4,000 steps on a day it rains. You can't, that ain't gonna work. Sometimes it's hot. I got little fans set up next to my walking pad. I have mine on my Amazon link. So if you want to see the one I use, it's in my bio. I think Brooke probably has one, or you can DM her for hers. They're under $200. Like, if you break it, I don't know. But yeah, like, it's been probably, the best sub $200 investment I've ever made. All right, guys. So that was prep hacks. If you guys liked it, make sure you actually like it. You give us a rating, send it out there. Help us share this. We're trying to grow the show. So if you know anybody that's thinking about prepping or in a cut that this could benefit them, send it to them, and stick around for the next episode. We're going to kind of reverse it and do hacks on gaining weight or dealing with the off season, because there's some mental things there that you don't often deal with quite the same as when you're in prep. So definitely a good one to hear. Anything else?
I think that's it.
Okay. Leave us a comment or a question, veganswholivepodcast.com. We'd love to air you on the episode, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care.